Finance keys. Most first budgets fail for a simple reason. People try to build them out of fantasy instead of real life. They write down the version of themselves who never stress spends, never forgets a bill, and never gets invited anywhere expensive at the wrong time. Then real life shows up and the whole system collapses in a week. A budget is not a punishment plan. It is a visibility system for your money. Its job is to show what needs to happen before the month starts spending you by surprise. A first budget that lasts is not the most detailed one. It is the one simple enough to keep using and honest enough to reflect how your life actually works. The core idea of budgeting is assigning roles to money before the month gets noisy. Rent, food, transportation, debt payments, subscriptions, savings, and flexible spending all compete for the same dollars. If you wait until each expense arrives to decide what matters, urgent things start winning over important things. A budget reduces that decision fatigue by giving money jobs in advance. That does not mean every category needs to be perfect. In the beginning, broad categories are usually better than hyper-detailed ones. Fixed costs, essentials, flexible spending, and savings is enough for many people to start. Precision can come later. Consistency matters more first. The reason budgets feel restrictive is often because they are built as denial systems instead of trade-off systems. A good budget does not say you are never allowed to spend. It says, if you spend here, what does that mean for the rest of the month? That shift makes the budget feel less like control from the outside and more like clarity from the inside. Imagine Nia gets paid twice a month and wants to start budgeting because she always feels broke 3 days before her next paycheck. She writes down rent, utilities, groceries, gas, and a savings goal. That part looks responsible, but she forgets takeout, ride shares, birthday gifts, and the little social spending that always shows up. By week 2, she thinks budgeting failed. The truth is different. The first draft failed because it was incomplete, not because budgeting is pointless. Once Nia adds a realistic, flexible spending category and checks in twice a week instead of waiting for the month to end, the system starts working. The budget did not need to be stricter. It needed to be more honest. Picture a table where every dollar arrives as a stack of cards. Each card needs a label before the wind picks up. Some cards belong to rent, some to food, some to transportation, some to future savings. If you leave the labels blank, the wind decides where the cards go. A budget is just the labeling step before the room gets chaotic. Another image is a map instead of a cage. The map does not force your feet to move, but it does show where you are heading if you keep walking in a certain direction. First, start with the last 30 to 60 days of actual spending instead of guessing from memory. Second, separate fixed bills from flexible spending so you know what can move and what cannot. Third, add a category for irregular but predictable things like gifts, fees, or random social spending. Fourth, check the budget twice a week so small problems stay small. Fifth, keep adjusting for 2 or 3 months before deciding whether the system works. A first budget is supposed to be revised. You do not need a perfect budget to feel more in control. You need a budget honest enough to tell the truth about your current life. Ask yourself, where am I pretending my spending habits are different from what they really are? That question usually improves a budget faster than another spreadsheet tab. If this helped, subscribe to Finance Keys, leave one budgeting problem you want broken down next, and share this with someone trying to get their first money system to stick.